So looking at the title race in a broader sense now, obviously the gap to Liverpool is still 9 points, but another defeat for Man City. You mentioned before, you look at that Man City gap, but now 2 points above Man City. I mean, it's got to be Liverpool and maybe Chelsea, you think, in the mix now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking at Liverpool now. Absolutely. I mean, they're brilliant again against Manchester City. I have to admit, I gave City zero chance of winning that game. The only thing was, obviously, it was Manchester City, so you couldn't discount it totally that they'd do something pretty special. But you just looked at the way Liverpool were playing, you looked at how City were playing, what their issues have been. It just looked tailor-made for a dominant Liverpool win, and it was. You know, they were brilliant. And yeah, I'm certainly looking at that gap to Liverpool now. I mean, it is a very, very big gap. Liverpool don't look like slowing up anytime soon. They're on an absolute roll. It's kind of similar to what I said last year. You just got to carry on winning if you're Arsenal. Just keep doing what you're doing and see where it takes you. You know, if Liverpool don't slip up, you've got to sort of doff your cap. I mean, they're on 100-point pace at the moment. If someone goes and wins the title with 100 points, you just got to stand back and applaud at the end of the day, because it doesn't happen very often. It's only happened once. If Liverpool go on and do that, then it's been an unbelievable achievement from them, and there's not really much else you can do about it. I do think, you know, I know Enzo Maresca's sitting there and saying, "No, we're not in the title race. We're not in the title race," but I don't see why they shouldn't be. I still think I would be surprised if they do sort of maintain it. Just we'll wait and see what they do in January. I look at their defence and I look at the goalkeeper, and I'm not sure over the course of the season that's strong enough. But you look at the talent they've got in that team in midfield and in attack, Chelsea. If they can get themselves on a run, which they seem to be at the moment, then they might give themselves a chance, which would be great for them. But yeah, from an Arsenal point of view, I think you're very much looking at Liverpool and just hoping someone can do you a favour at some point soon and just stem that momentum that they've built up now.
Yeah, I think with Chelsea, there's a lot more signs of possible inconsistency in there. It's still got a young manager. He's done brilliantly so far, but they've got a young squad. Lots of chopping and changing going on within that squad, even if there's sort of one for Europe, one for league, mainly at this stage. But yeah, there's a lot more question marks still, I think, to be answered over Chelsea, even if the results don't really bear it out in terms of inconsistency, because they don't really get beaten by anyone other than Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City lately. So yeah, I think, yeah, obviously Liverpool are leading the race. I think this is a big week for Arsenal and Liverpool. I mean, there is a world where we speak this time next week and the gap is suddenly 3 points. It's obviously unlikely that Liverpool are going to lose both of those games. But if Arsenal keep winning, they're not easy games for Liverpool. They don't have a great record, certainly at Goodison Park at the weekend. And then Newcastle away is always a tough one, as you know, they've beaten and taken points off some of the league's biggest teams this season already. The form Arsenal are in at the moment, you know, if they'd gone and won these latest games like 1-0 or 2-0, you'd maybe push them a bit further back from where they are. But it feels like they're more of a challenger than maybe the gap suggests, because they've suddenly hit top gear and they're blowing teams away and they're really good at the moment. Do you agree? I mean, with Arsenal, we'll delve into the individual games a little bit more after this, but with Arsenal got United and Fulham coming up, this is a huge week and potentially make or break either way.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, with the gap as it is, every single week is a huge week and it's make or break, because Arsenal just can't afford to slip up now. They just cannot afford to, because Liverpool don't look like they're doing it. So every week feels, you know, so crucial. And that's a mad thing to say. We're still just in early December, but that's what Liverpool's run of form has kind of made it now. It is a big week, 2 really big games. I mean, Man United at home, but then Fulham away, which was Arsenal's worst performance of the season last season. They were abysmal at Fulham, got beaten 2-1. Could have been more, and they were just awful. And you thought at that point, I think they fell 5 points behind Liverpool then after that defeat against Fulham. And that was January the 1st, and you felt the season was over. And so that's one thing to hold on to as well. You know, Arsenal I remember they played Liverpool in February last season at the Emirates. They beat them, and if they'd have lost, they'd have gone 8 points behind. But so they went into it 5 points adrift, and that was in February. So it's not that much of a difference to now. We've still got a couple of months before that. So it can be done. You can claw it back. But as you said, it's just crucial now. They've just got to win every single game. I mean, I look at the games, like you pointed out, Liverpool's games coming up, and they are tricky. But, I mean, Everton defensively against Man United are absolute shambles at the weekend. I know they won at Goodison last year in the derby, and this is going to be potentially the last, well, unless they meet in the Cup, will be the last derby at Goodison Park. So they're going to be very up for it. I just can't see Liverpool slipping up there, though, this season. I really can't. And, Newcastle looks like we know Isak as well. So again, things seem to be falling in Liverpool's favour in that regards in some really tricky games. So Arsenal just got to hope that someone can do them a favour at the moment and just do their own job. It's all you can do, is do your own job, win these games, and see where you are come Christmas.
I mean, you mentioned that he uses past performances. Would he use past sort of positions? Because you mentioned where they were after that Fulham game. You thought maybe season over. Would he use that to the team and say, okay, this is where we thought we were last season. We ended up finishing above Liverpool. We can still do it at this point in the season. Will he use those sort of milestones? Okay, we're playing Fulham. Remember where we were. This is where we are this season. It's still possible.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. I'm sure the players will as well, to be fair. Someone like Martin Odegaard will certainly be doing that. There will be a belief in that Arsenal team that they can do it. There is such a long way to go. That's the thing. It is a massive gap, but it is such a long way to go still. You know, anything can happen. You've seen what's happened with Manchester City. Who would have predicted Man City would go on this run? You know, if Man City can lose these games in a row, then anyone can. So as good as Liverpool are doing now, you just never know what can happen in the future. So as I've said many times, you just got to position yourselves to be able to take advantage of any potential slip up. And there's such a long way to go that slip up can happen. You know, Liverpool have got an awful lot of tricky away games to come this season. Arsenal have got, on paper, and I hate that phrase, but on paper, the hardest ones out of the way this season. They've got everything to come at home. So, you know, it's not done and dusted yet. And Mikel will be pointing to that very fact and will bring that into his players. And like you said, you know, last season, we were in February time and it was looking like make or break for Arsenal when they did it. They got themselves on a run. They overhauled Liverpool. Probably really should have gone on and won the league. They put themselves in a position to and didn't get it done again. So, and maybe they'll be better being the hunters this season rather than the hunted. The last 2 seasons they've been the hunted. Now they've got someone that they can set their sights on and try and haul back. And maybe that might work to their advantage this season. We'll see.
And we might be going a bit too far back now, but on a week where Arsenal play Man United, there's been talk of, was it 11-point gap they overhauled in 97-98? Is there going to be talk of that, or is that just too far in the past to bear any, significance?
I'm not sure any of the Arsenal players were alive at that point in that squad. And I certainly was. I remember it very, very well. It was very famous, wasn't it? The bookmakers paid out on United at that point in about March, and then Arsenal won 10 games in a row, went to Old Trafford and won and hauled them back and won the double that season. So, you know, anything's possible. I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans pointing to that season in the last couple of weeks who were there to witness it. You know, you can get on a run, teams can slip up, and then the weight of pressure can affect them massively. I mean, you look at Liverpool now, I think they're on 34 points, aren't they? Arsenal were on 34 points 2 seasons ago after that unbelievable start they had. They didn't win the league. You know, City hauled them back. And obviously the gap wasn't 9 points at this point. I think it was 5 points at this point then, but City hauled them back and won the title. So yeah, it's not done and dusted yet.